Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayom Vishnupad, Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Asta Tarsha Shishimata Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad, Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Asta Tarsha Shishimata Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Guru Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Kshetra Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nita Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Radhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda 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 Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Jaya Guru Deva. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Go. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 8, titled Prayers by Queen Kunti, and today we'll be reading text 24. Vishanmahagneya Purushad Darshanad Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Kruchata Mrudhe Mrudhe Aneka Maharashtra Rashtraro द्रौणी अस्त्रतस्ता चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विशान्महाग्नेः पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधे अनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौणी अस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विशान्महाग्नेः पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधे अनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौणी अस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिता विषाद्महाग्नेः पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विशामहाग्नेः पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्ये अस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विशान्महाग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधे अनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्ये अस्त्रश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिता विशामहाग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्तसता चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विशान्महाग्नेः पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छता मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्ये अस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः Vishat from poison, Mahagneha from the great fire, Purushada the man-eaters, Darshana by combating, Asat vicious, Sabhaya assembly, Vanavasa exiled to the forest, Kruchataha sufferings, Mrudhe Mrudhe again and again in battle, Aneka many, Maharatha great generals, Astrataha weapons. Drauni, the son of Dronacharya. Astrataha, from the weapon of Cha, and Asma, indicating past tense. Hare, O my Lord. Abhirakshitaha, protected completely. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Purport. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted herein. Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother, otherwise she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom, and each and every time the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered poison in a cake, once they were put into the house made of shellac and set afire, and once Draupadi was dragged out and attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with the man-eater demon Hidimba Rakshasa, but the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there was the great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet such great generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. And at last, even when everything was done away with, there was the Brahmastra released by the son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved the only surviving descendant of the Kurus, Maharaja Parikshit. Again, let's read the translation. Repeat after me. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Romapada Swaminiti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatare. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namo Nama. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from the great fire, from cannibals, and from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. So we are reading the prayers by Queen Kunti in the last several verses, and And actually these verses, the prayers of Queen Kunti, describe the consciousness of a devotee and how a devotee will become eligible to see Krishna face to face. Because Queen Kunti is actually seeing Krishna right in front of her. But she had the good fortune because it actually is describing, because of her consciousness and because of her constant devotion, how she is able to see Krishna face to face and how she is able to glorify him and offer prayers. And also it shows, especially in this text, and in these last couple of texts, it describes how the price of a devotee has to pay to come to this stage. Like in this text, it's being described all the dangers that Queen Kunti had to go through and her family had to go through the whole life in order for where they are to be able to see in front of Krishna and actually glorify Krishna. Because the way Vyasadeva in Mahabharata, before he narrates Mahabharata, Vyasadeva describes Mahabharata as it's about, just kind of give a synopsis, he says that Mahabharata is about Gandhari's, what is that? Gandhari's dharmashilata, he says, dharmashilata, basically how she is, it's about Gandhari's dharmashilata and Kunti's devotion and the glory of Lord Krishna, and the glorious activities of Lord Krishna. And if you see Gandhari, and if you compare Gandhari and Kunti, I mean, Gandhari is, I mean, obviously, when Vyasadeva says that dharmashilata, she was married to a blind man, but she had the determination, and she basically was, because of whatever the providence that dictated those for her marriage with Dhritarashtra, she took that as her dharma, and she abided by that dharma throughout her life. I mean, to the fact that she even closed her own eyes so that she can see the same as what her husband, she can feel the same as what her husband feels. But at the end, when she was confronted with the dangers that she had to go through, I mean, if you compare those dangers to Kunti's, what Kunti had to go through, they were nowhere near. Of course, I mean, she lost all her sons because of the foolishness of her husband. But when Krishna came in front of her at the end of the battle, what did she do? Gandhari. She cursed him. She cursed him. Even though, I mean, she was supposedly dharmashilata throughout her life, but at the end, when she came across the dangers, when she experienced the calamities, she couldn't appreciate, or she couldn't. I mean, when she came in front of Lord Krishna, she actually chastised him, and she cursed him that your family also will be destroyed, just like my family destroyed. And whereas Kunti, I mean, she went through so many dangers, actually not more than even in this purport Srila Prabhupada writes, because in the previous text, Srila Prabhupada, in the previous text, Kunti mentions about Devaki, how Devaki had gone through some dangers of her own or some calamities of her own. And but in this text, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says that Devaki's dangers, she was put into prison, prison house. Obviously she lost 7 children that were killed by Kamsa before Krishna was born. So, but at the same time, otherwise, Srila Prabhupada says otherwise she was well, because the reason is, it is being said that because at least Devaki had her husband, and her family was supporting, and so she had the support of her the family and so forth. Whereas Kunti, from a young age, she has gone through so many dangers. She lost her husband, Pandu, died at very early, and then she had these 5 children, and they were always constantly put in danger. And obviously, and she is now in front of Lord Krishna, and she is able to see him face to face. And of course, this is the time when Krishna is returning to Dwaraka. So that's why she is offering these prayers. She is glorifying Krishna. And in one of these previous texts, she says that in order for one to be able to see the Lord, they have to actually elevate their consciousness, because it's not, she says that being able, you are beyond the range of limited sense perception, because you are being covered by the curtain of deluding energy, and you are invisible to the foolish observer, just like an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. And so and in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains how one can become eligible to see Krishna. What does he say? Bhaktatvana nyashakya ahameva vidhorjuna jnatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. He says, what is the qualification? Bhaktya, by devotional service. And how? Ananyaya, without being mixed with fruitive activities or speculative knowledge. Sakya, possible. You will be able to see me. Drashtum, to see. Tatvena, in fact. So that is the only, by devotional service, undivided devotional service, I can be understood as I am standing before you, and thus be seen directly. So here Kunti Devi is able to see Krishna face to face because she has cultivated this ananya bhakti, ananyaya, bhaktya ananyaya, basically the devotional service that is not mixed with any fruitive activities or knowledge, desire for knowledge. And so Kunti Devi, in this text, she is remembering all the different dangers, all the different calamities that she has gone through. She says, Vishan Mahagneya, Vishan. Once they were poisoned. Anybody knows the story? Who was poisoned? Bhima. So Duryodhana always was very envious of these 5 brothers. So one time they were I think very young, I think 5 years or 7 years or something like that age, and they were all playing together. And Duryodhana is being the bad dude, so he basically devised a plan that today I have got a special cake made just for you, Bhima. And so he takes Bhima aside and he says, this is just, because he knows Bhima's, weakness point. Bhima likes food. So whatever is available, what is it? Bhima is known as Vrukodara, right? I mean, his appetite never decreases. His appetite is always so he's always hungry. So Duryodhana wanted to use that weakness, and so he took him aside and he said, "Oh, I got a very special cake made for you." And so he offered the cake. And of course, Duryodhana's devious plan was that he had asked the cooks to put some poison in the cake, so that. It's actually said that it's from the cobras. I mean, so it's a very very dangerous poison. And so when Bhima, he nicely chomps the cake, the whole thing, finishes off, and then he falls unconscious. And then, of course, Duryodhana immediately he wants to cover his traces. So he basically gets some help and takes Bhima's body and throws him in the river next to the where they were playing. And of course, when Bhima's body falls into the river, when it gets down to the bed of the river is actually infested or occupied by the nagas, or the serpents. They basically the serpents actually bite him, and then I don't know if they actually bite him, or basically it works as an antidote when they bite him. And then he comes to little consciousness, and then of course the Sarpas immediately tie him up because he encroached into their kingdom or into their area, and they take him to their underground kingdom, the palace the Nagas had. And so there they actually somehow they figure out the relationship with Bhima. Do you know, Prabhu, what happens there? Somehow they figure out that this personality is actually, of course, he is the son of. Because I guess he's the son of the demigod Vayu, right? So basically, the Nagas king kind of recognizes him, and so then he gets him rid of the poison, and then he actually bestows him with the energy of 10,000 elephants. Basically, he says that it's our good fortune to have you in our association, so we are giving you this benediction that you will be even more powerful than what you were before. You will be as powerful as 10,000 elephants. And so then they bring him out and they put him back on the river bank, and of course Bhima nicely comes back, and Duryodhana sees him and he's like, "What happened to you? I thought you were gone." And Bhima is like, "Oh no, I had a good time. I don't know what happened. The cake was really good. I just overslept." And so so Duryodhana was kind of disturbed. But anyway, then the next one says Mahagneha. Mahagneha, the great forest, the great fire. And that pastime, what happened? Anybody? Yeah, it's fire. Yeah, house of lac. Yeah. So one time, of course, Dhritarashtra was always constantly looking for devising some crazy plans to kill these 5 sons of Pandu so that he can have the kingdom. Because originally the kingdom actually belongs to in the Vedic culture, in a Kshatriya family, the kingdom normally belongs to the eldest son of the king. But in this case, Dhritarashtra was deemed ineligible to be the king because of his physical disability, because he was not able to see. So Pandu, his brother, was basically thrown to the emperor, being the emperor. And then, of course, Pandu died in a very young age, and so Dhritarashtra was basically put as a apadharma, caretaker prime minister, caretaker king. But of course, Dhritarashtra felt that he was, because of his ineligibility, his sons also became ineligible, and so he was very attached to, in a devious way, he was very attached to his sons. So he wanted his sons somehow or the other, it would be nice if my sons can actually become the emperors. So he became, he was supposed to be apadharma, or a caretaker, but he became careless taker. And so he was always devising these plans. So one of the plans that he devised was that to build a big palace for Pandavas as a gift. And he said that one day he called the Pandavas and Kunti, and he said, "Oh, I built this beautiful palace just for you guys. Why don't you go and take a summer vacation there?" And so they said, okay. Of course, they had their doubts, but they were also very, they were also very obedient. Even though they knew there were these people were dubious or devious, had devious plans, they were always obedient to the elders, the Pandavas. And so they basically said that, okay, that's fine, we will, thank you, Big Daddy, we will go and we'll take care of, we'll stay in that, in this beautiful palace that you gave us. And of course, Dhritarashtra's younger brother, Vidura, knew, Jai Shri Radha Nilamadava ki Jai, Shri Radha Giridhari ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gauri Chanditai Chaitanya Chandi, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari. So, of course, Vidura kind of warned them that there might be something happening, there might be some devious plan there. So you guys watch out. And of course, by Krishna's instruction, there is a subway tunnel that was digged under the palace. So when they were staying in this palace, of course, it was not made with any beautiful, any regular like cement or these things. It was purely made with shellac or lakha gruha. It's basically like very the wood that is very susceptible to fire. It can easily catch fire. And so, of course, they were staying one night, and Dhritarashtra sends his goons to kind of set that palace on fire, and he says, "Job is done." And of course, the Pandavas and Kunti, they escaped through the tunnel, the subway, and into the forest. And then because they feel that they were in danger. Obviously, they know that this plan was devised by Dhritarashtra, so they wanted to stay incognito for some time. And so then they went and stayed in a nearby village near the forest. And that's where the next one is Purushada, right? Darshanat. So as they were staying in this village, Purushada is the man-eaters. Purusha Ada, the man-eaters. So when they were staying in this village, they were hosted by a Brahmin family, and as they were residing with them, there was a demon in the forest, a nearby forest, that was basically creating havoc among the villagers. And so the villagers make an agreement with this demon that don't kind of come and just kill so many people and so much destruction. We will it's because you want some food. We will send you all the food that you want. And of course the demon says, no, I need some the meat products. So he says, okay, fine. They say that, okay, we'll send you the 2 bulls that bring the cart. No, I need some man, because he was a man-eater. So I said, I need some man's stuff. So they said, okay, we'll provide you with 1 man every day for you to have lunch. So this is Hidimbasura, or also known as Bakasura, I guess, in some circles. But this Hidimbasura, so he basically says, okay, so one day, so the villagers take turns from their households. Each day 1 house sends 1 person, and along with the food. So it comes to the turn of this Brahmin family, where these Pandavas were taking shelter. And so the Brahmin was getting ready to go, and of course the whole family was crying because the protector of their household is going to be gone. And so at that time, Kunti Devi finds out what is happening, what's going on, and the Brahmin's wife explains the situation, and then Kunti Devi says that, no, I mean, your husband is the only caretaker of this family, but I have 5 sons, I mean, so I can have one of my sons go. And of course they have a back and forth argument, because they say that, oh, you are our guest, how can we put you in danger, and so forth. But Kunti Devi says that, no, don't worry about it. I know my sons, I know my Bhima. He will be a good feed for the Rakshasa. He has big body. So then, of course, the Bhima goes to the forest with the bullock cart of food, and so there he fights with the Hidimbasura. Actually, that's a good point. I missed that one, because he was Vrukodara, right? He has so much hunger. And the thing is, he was residing at this Brahmin's place, and obviously the Brahmin didn't have much food, so he was not getting enough prasadam. And so when he was going in this bullock cart, I mean, he becomes so hungry, and he was like, oh, there is a lot of food here. We'll take care of it. We'll see what to deal with the Rakshasa. We'll first carry out our hunger. So he finishes up all the food. Yeah, that's a good point. And so by the time he gets there, the Rakshasa sees, and there's nothing left. What happened to it? And he says, oh, I already ate everything. And he gets angry, and so there was a fight, and of course Bhima kills the Rakshasa, and then he even marries. Actually, his sister comes, and she cries, and oh, you killed my only shelter, and so you have to marry me. And so he actually he got trapped. So he actually marries Hidimbi, and that's where Ghatotkacha born. And so anyway, by Krishna's mercy, Bhima was protected, and of course from that danger as well. And then Asat Sabhaya, vicious assembly, and that's, of course, everybody knows the pastime where Draupadi was being disrobed in the assembly of the Kurus, because Kanna was he was so, I guess, he originally Kanna wanted to marry Draupadi, but in the Swayamvara of Draupadi, Draupadi says that he is not qualified, so he cannot participate in the Swayamvara, and so that since then he kind of builds up that anger, and he is always kind of wanted to take a revenge. So when in the Kuru assembly, when the Pandavas lost their gambling match, basically he takes the opportunity to kind of instigate the Kauravas to bring and insult Draupadi by bringing her and making her naked in front of the whole assembly. And of course, when Dushasana brings Draupadi into the assembly, she asks for help from all the personalities. I mean, there were all these exalted personalities in the Kuru assembly, and she goes and requests, begs protection. And of course, Dhritarashtra doesn't listen. Then Bhishma says that he was abided by the throne, so he cannot go against the throne. And of course, she even goes and asks her own husbands, the 5 Pandavas, and they say that, oh, now we are helpless, kind of. They all kind of put their heads down, and nobody wants to come to help. So at that time, she basically says, Hey Krishna, Hey Krishna, Hey Govinda. So, and of course, it is said that even when she said that initially, when she was going through that, I mean, she was still trying to hold on to her sari by herself. And so Krishna was in Dwaraka, and Rukmini was next to him. And so, of course, they are watching it, all this on live TV. And live streaming. Yeah. And so, Rukmini says to Krishna, I mean, she's your sister. I mean, she's asking for help. I mean, she's so in such a helpless condition. Why are you not going? And of course, Krishna says that she's still holding on to her own strength, because she's holding on to her sari. She's thinking that she can protect her own self. So he says, just wait. And then, of course, when Draupadi realizes that her own strength is not sufficient against the strength of Dushasana, she basically finally leaves and she says, Hey Govinda. And then Krishna immediately kind of appears and with the, yeah. So he comes with the unlimited amount of sari, and so of course Dushasana kind of keeps doing it, and then he kind of gets totally fatigued and he gone. And so Krishna protects the chastity of Draupadi. And then Vanavasa, exiled to the forest, he is also there to protect them in those different situations. And Mrude, again and again in the battle, Aneka, many, Maharada, great generals, Astrataha, weapons. I mean, there were, in the Kurukshetra battle, there were so many exalted warriors, like Dronacharya, who actually taught Arjuna how to fight. So I'm sure he had some additional tricks that he may not have shared. So he could have used. But because of Krishna's presence in the war, Arjuna and the rest of the Pandavas were protected. And of course, Bhishma was the most valiant fighter of the times, but he was also been defeated. And she goes on to say, Drauni astratastasma harevi rakshitaha. So even when after the war, Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama, he sends the Brahmastra to kill the only remaining descendant of the Pandava dynasty, Parikshit, in the womb of his mother Uttara. And of course, as we read in the previous chapters, Krishna, in his Paramatma form, he puts his own energy against the Brahmastra, and he protects Parikshit Maharaj. So I guess the point Kunti Devi is making is that only because of Krishna's mercy and grace, they were saved time and again. Of course, Krishna, even in the case of when Draupadi was Srapaharan, when Draupadi was being disrobed, each person came up with their own reasoning, right? Bhishma said, Bhishma was, could have protected, but Bhishma said, oh, I am bound by my dharma, my promise to protect whoever sits on the throne. And then her own husbands, they said, oh, we are bound by, because of we lost this match, so we are bound by whatever, now we are the servants of this person. But Krishna was never bound by anybody, any norms. Krishna always, he is indifferent to protect devotees at any time. And so this, and just as a comparison, this material world is full of difficulties. What is it? It's a rage of fire of difficulties, right? Samsara davanala, nalalidha loka. We chant that every morning, because this material world is full of fire of difficulties. But if we somehow or other, if we turn to Krishna, Krishna will free us from all difficulties. And Kunti Devi is teaching by her own example, by her own prayers, that the conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in great danger. Sometimes he puts his own pure devotees in such dangers, because in that condition of helplessness, the devotees become more attached to the Lord. The more the attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there for the devotee. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, Lord Shiva, in prayers, Lord Krishna explains, Sri Bhagavan uvacha yasyaham anugrahami harishye tadhanam shanai tatodhanam tyajantyasya swajana dukkhitam. The personality of Godhead said, I especially favor someone, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. Then he goes on to say in the next verse, Sayada vidhat yogo nirvanna syadhane haya matparai kruta maitrasya karishye madanugraham. When he becomes frustrated in his attempts to make money and instead befriends my devotees, I bestow my special mercy upon him. So it's actually, Krishna makes the arrangement sometimes, not all the time, because obviously he knows, he wants to see who is sincere or who is actually wants to turn towards him. And so for those, he actually makes this arrangement. He himself says, I gradually deprive them of their wealth, and so that all the relatives are go away. And then when they get frustrated, because even at that time, we try to protect, just like Draupadi. Even though she was in a helpless condition amongst these huge personalities, but she still was holding on to her sari. And we also, even though we are practicing devotees, we kind of, let me keep my separate pocket plan, because we want to, just in case, right? So, and so Krishna makes the arrangement that when he becomes frustrated, he wants us to become frustrated in all our attempts to make good on our own efforts. And then when we become frustrated, then when we completely surrender to him or his devotees, then he bestows special mercy. Of course, he is always protecting his devotees to whatever the extent that they are surrendering. And in the purport, in that verse purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, but if the Lord is compassionate to his devotees, people might ask, why does he expose them to special suffering? This is answered by an analogy. Prabhupada says that a very affectionate father takes the responsibility of restricting his children's play and making them go to school. Right? As a child, I mean, the child always wants to play. He never wants to go to school. Right? But as a concerned father, you have to put some restrictions. You have to say, this much play is not good. I mean, you have to actually go to school and you have to study. And so, as a concerned father, he restricts. And so, he knows that this is a genuine expression of his love for them, even if the children fail to understand. The children might feel that, oh, my father is being mean to me. He's not letting me play. He's making me go to school. Similarly, the Supreme Lord Vishnu is mercifully strict with all his dependents, not only with immature devotees struggling to become qualified. Even perfect saints like Prahalada, Dhruva, Yudhishthira were subjected to great tribulations, all for their glorification. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Sri Bhishma Deva described to King Yudhishthira, he says, oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhishma Deva says, how can Yudhishthira actually have these reversals in his life? He is actually the son of the religion, god of religion, demigod of religion, Yamaraj. And Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas, Krishna was always present with them. O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. And Srila Prabhupada in that purport, he writes, although a Vaishnava's happiness and distress are felt as a pleasure and pain, just like ordinary karmic reactions, they are different in a significant sense. Material happiness and distress arising from karma leave a subtle residue, the seed of future entanglement. Such enjoyment and suffering tend toward degradation and increase the danger of falling into hellish oblivion. Happiness and distress generated from the Supreme Lord's desires, however, leave no trace after their immediate purpose has been served. Moreover, the Vaishnava who enjoys such reciprocation with the Lord is in no danger of falling down into nations. As Yamaraj. So, as devotees, we have to, of course, I mean, it's not, we don't imitate Queen Kunti, or we don't imitate Prahlad Maharaj or Dhruva or such personalities, because they are exalted, they have done their devotion and they have come to that stage. But we have to learn from these personalities examples on how we should make our dependence on Krishna more and more gradually, eventually completely. And so, and how do we do that? Actually, Yamaraj explains to his followers in the sixth canto. Shri Shirada Nilamadava ki jai, Shri Shirada Giridhari ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Shri Nidai Gauri Chandritai Chaitanya Chandri. So he says to his servants, he instructs his servants, Yamadutas, that what kind of personalities they should actually bring to him or to hell. My dear servants, please bring me only those small, sinful persons who do not use their tongues to chant the holy name and qualities of Krishna, whose hearts do not remember the lotus feet of Krishna even once, and those heads do not bow down to even once before Lord Krishna. Send me those who do not perform their duties toward Vishnu, which are the only duties in human form of life. Huh? No. Please bring me all such fools and rascals. So, as we conclude, Krishna, basically, this world is full of dangers. Because even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Brahma's prayers to Lord Krishna, he says that Samsaraye padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavambhudir vatsapadam param padam yad vipadam natesham. He says that padam, every step there are vipadam, there are miseries, there are dangers. But what is the only solution we have? Those who have accepted the board of the lotus feet of the Lord. Yet ye padapallava plavam. The plavam is basically birds, rose birds. So who accepts the Lord Krishna's lotus feet as they're as tender as rose birds. Then who takes shelter of that, those personalities who stay the shelter of the cosmic manifestation, that those personalities, they can actually cross over those dangers. For them, it says that, what is it? Vatsa padam. So these dangers actually become like the calf footprint. Otherwise, it is an ocean. But for those who take the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, they become like calf's footprint. So you can easily jump over. Right? I mean, calf's footprint is very small compared to the ocean. So, this material world, of course, is even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that dukkhalayam ashashvatam, right? I mean, so this material world is full of miseries, and there is no doubt about it. It's basically certified by the Lord himself. So the only shelter is to take the shelter of dependence on at the lotus feet of the Lord. So and we can learn from Queen Kunti how grateful a devotee should be for Krishna's protection, because she is sharing in these few verses that how grateful as a devotee we should be for whatever the protection we have received so far. I mean, for us to be sitting here this morning is actually because of the protection of the Lord. What are the chances? I mean, we could have been doing so many nasty nonsense things, but
I looked it up yesterday, one of the odds. It said 1 in trillions.
1 in trillions. He had the statistics.
I said, if you take a bunch of ones at 12-point font and line them up, it would be 29 million miles. And then to pick one of those out would be like the chance even that was bigger than becoming a devotee and chanting Krishna.
See? So we are actually, that's only because of the protection. That's only because of the grace of the Lord that we received so far. That's why we are this 1 in gazillion trillions. It's not even trillions, probably, whatever the next thing is. Yeah. So we have to be grateful for that protection that we received. And also it describes how attentive Krishna is towards his devotees. When somebody turns to him, he completely gives himself to him, to that person. So we have to be thankful, and we have to be grateful, and we have to reciprocate, and we have to increase our dependence on Krishna. I'll end here. Any questions, comments, suggestions, corrections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a very nice class. Okay, I have a few small questions.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so all these different pastimes, are these all Mahabharata? Or
Yes,
also,
these are from Mahabharata.
are some in Srimad Bhagavatam also? Or?
Of course, I mean, No, most of these things are Mahabharata. I don't remember any of these things mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Huh? Of course, the last one, where Ashwatthama shoots the Brahmastra. That's true, yeah.
Okay. Also, so with the pastime with Draupadi, okay, so when Krishna appeared and he was giving her the more robes, did anybody, like, was he physically present? Did anybody know that the robes were coming from Krishna? Like, were they aware?
The devotees, they knew it, they saw. But the thing is, Krishna's, even when Krishna showed his universal form in the assembly of Kurus at one time, none of them could see it. Right. Others could see it.
Right, he had to give the eyes the vision.
Yeah, because the devotees, as devotees, they are provided with the special vision to see. For others, it's basically, even when Krishna came, Duryodhana said, "Oh, he's just playing his tricks." He basically considered him as what is that? He is basically siddhis. He has some siddhis, and he's kind of plays some tricks.
Okay.
So that's why when even Duryodhana and Arjuna went to see Krishna before the Kurukshetra war for help, Duryodhana asked for all the army of Yadus.